In the misty borderlands between England and Scotland, a story was lost to time, a tale from over for centuries ago, blurring the line between myth and legend. On a sprawling farm in northeast England lived John, a 38-year-old farmer, and his beautiful wife, Ella. They lived a simple life until trouble rode in from the north. The King of Scotland, believing the King of England was on his deathbed, crossed the border with 100 men and laid claim to John's farm. He declared the land was now part of Scotland, but when he saw Ella, his greed shifted. He gave John a cruel ultimatum: surrender your wife or surrender your farm and your life, and he would still take Ella anyway. The Scottish king set up camp on their land, giving John for days to decide his family's fate. News travels fast, even on horseback. In the south, the King of England, now recovered from his illness, heard of the Scottish king's audacity. He didn't hesitate. Rallying his army as he rode, he and 600 of England's finest men galloped north without rest, day and night. They arrived at sunrise, just as the King of Scotland was emerging from his tent. The Scottish king stared, his face a mask of disbelief. He had thought his English rival was weak, dying. The King of England, seeing his shock, spoke with cold authority. "Surprised to see me? Don't bother answering. As you can see, I have 600 men, all ready to die for England. Not for me, but for England. You have crossed a line. And you have, what? 100 men. Are you sure they will die for you when you are trying to steal a piece of England? They would not be fighting for Scotland. They would be fighting for your personal greed. Now, I must speak with the farmer. My men will keep you company." The English king walked slowly to the farmhouse and rang the bell which was hanging next to the door of the farmhouse. The door opened to reveal Ella, her face stained with tears. Her voice was a broken whisper. "John, he took his own life to save me from the King of Scotland." A wave of anger and sorrow washed over the King of England. He knew he had a duty to this woman in her darkest hour. He gently covered John's body. "We will ensure he has a respectful burial," he promised. He then led Ella inside, made her some tea, and simply listened as she spoke of John, of their life, of the kind and loving man he was. Exhausted by grief, Ella eventually drifted off to sleep in her chair. The king found a blanket and gently draped it over her. He then stepped outside, his face grim, to confront the waiting Scottish king. "The farmer is dead," he announced, his voice low and dangerous. "And for you, a fate worse than death awaits." He ordered 250 of his men to guard the house, ensuring Ella and her 3 children remained safe. Looking at the Scottish king, he said, "You had better get some rest. At sunrise, we ride south," but Ella had other plans. In the dead of night, while the camps were silent and the soldiers slept, she moved like a shadow. With tears streaming down her face, she crept into the Scottish king's tent and, in a single act of cold-blooded vengeance, took his life. She then walked to the English king and woke him, confessing what she had done. The King of England listened, stunned into silence. He looked at the grieving, resolute woman before him. "Do you understand what this means?" he asked softly. Ella shook her head. "No," the king explained. "By your hand, the aggressor king is dead. By the laws of succession and conquest, you are now the rightful queen of Scotland." He declared that her farm, and the lands around it, would officially become part of Scotland, a gesture of goodwill. He promised to build her a palace there, hoping this act could finally forge a lasting peace between the two nations. Ella, the farmer's wife, now a queen, looked at him. Her grief was still raw, but a new strength settled in her eyes. She thought of her 3 children and the example she must set for them. She nodded. "There will be peace," she vowed, "for as long as I live." And so, from the deepest tragedy, a queen was born, and a fragile peace began to bloom across the borderlands, all because of the farmer's wife who refused to be a victim of fate. Thank you for watching this incredible forgotten legend. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more tales from the mists of history. See you next time.